The signal from the stars. The rhythmic hum of the UES Pathfinder's engines provided the only constant in the vast emptiness of deep space. Captain Ileana Reyes stood on the observation deck, her dark eyes reflecting the distant stars as she contemplated their mission. The Pathfinder was humanity's most advanced exploration vessel, tasked with charting the Orion Spur, a relatively unexplored region of the galaxy where Earth hoped to establish peaceful relations with new civilizations. Captain, the voice of Lieutenant Marcus Way, communications officer, interrupted her thoughts through the ship's intercom. "We're receiving something unusual. You should come to the bridge immediately." When Reyes arrived, the bridge crew was gathered around Way's console. His normally composed features were animated with excitement. "It's a distress signal, Captain, non-human origin." "Put it through," Reyes ordered, straightening her uniform as the main viewscreen activated. The image was distorted, crackling with interference, but clear enough to reveal a being unlike any human. It had silvery skin that seemed to shimmer with bioluminescence, 4 arms, and large multifaceted eyes that glowed with an amber light. The alien's environment was filled with smoke and sparking equipment. "This is Emissary Zothril of the Lyrani Conclave." The being's melodic voice was translated through the ship's computer. "Our diplomatic vessel is under attack by Vorax raiders. Engines failing, life support critically damaged. To any sentient species receiving this message, we implore your assistance. Coordinates follow." The transmission ended with a burst of static. Silence fell across the bridge. "Analysis?" Reyes asked, turning to her first officer, Commander Jackson Okafor. Okafor consulted his datapad. The Lyrani are known for their diplomatic efforts throughout this sector. They were among the first alien species to welcome humanity to interstellar space 3 decades ago, though our interactions have been limited. "And the Vorax?" Reyes inquired. "Territorial expansionists," replied Tactical Officer Davy Kapoor, her expression grim. "They consider this entire sector their hunting grounds. They've been known to attack vessels that intrude on what they claim as their space." Security Director Nikolai Tarsov, a veteran of Earth's Martian conflicts, frowned deeply. "Captain, I advise caution. Why would these Lyrani contact us? Humanity has barely established itself beyond our solar system. There are dozens of more advanced civilizations they could call for help." The question hung in the recycled air of the bridge. Earth's position in galactic politics remained precarious at best. Most alien civilizations viewed humans with a mixture of fascination and wariness. Creatures evolved on a high-gravity world with extreme climate variations, persistent apex predators, and a disturbing tendency toward rapid technological advancement. Dr. Talia Hernandez, the ship's xenobiologist, offered her perspective. "The signal pattern shows it was broadcast on all emergency frequencies. Anyone in range would receive it." "Or perhaps," Reyes said thoughtfully, "they understand that sometimes when you're in danger, you need allies who aren't afraid to fight." Reyes opened a secure channel to Earth Command. Admiral Helena Blackwell's stern face appeared on screen. "Captain Reyes, I assume this is about the alien distress call our satellites just picked up." "Yes, Admiral, the Pathfinder is closest to the coordinates. I recommend we respond with a rescue operation." Blackwell's expression tightened. "The diplomatic corps is concerned about potential entanglements. We're still navigating complex relationships with half the species in this sector." "With respect, Admiral," Reyes countered, "this is precisely the opportunity Earth needs. If we respond to this call, if we save lives when others won't, it changes the narrative about humanity." After a long silence, Blackwell nodded. "Very well, Captain, you have authorization to investigate and render assistance. The UES Sentinel and the medical vessel Mercy can rendezvous with you at the jump point." Her expression hardened. "But this is a rescue mission only. If the situation becomes complicated, you are to extract immediately. Understood." "Understood, Admiral." Pathfinder out. 4 hours later, Reyes addressed the assembled crews of her small fleet. The rescue mission had been approved, but with clear diplomatic restrictions. Humanity couldn't afford any missteps that might further alienate potential allies. "Men and women of Earth," she began, her voice resonating through the communication system. "We've received a distress call from the Lyrani, a civilization known for fostering peace throughout this sector. We don't know what awaits us at those coordinates, but we know our purpose." She paused, her eyes focused on the camera. "The galaxy has called us dangerous. They've called us unpredictable. Today, we show them something else, that when others cry for help, humans answer. Prepare for dimensional jump in 20 minutes. As the transmission ended, Commander Okafor approached her on the bridge. What do you really think we'll find out there, Ileana? Reyes checked the settings on her neural interface, a habit from her days in Earth's defense forces. I don't know, Jackson, but whatever it is, they'll learn that calling humans was either their wisest decision or their greatest mistake. The massive engines of the human fleet surged as they entered the dimensional slip that would carry them across light years of space. On the Pathfinder's bridge, Lieutenant Wei monitored communications, while Navigator Fiona Torres maintained their trajectory.
All systems operating within parameters, Captain, Torres reported. We should reach the Lirani coordinates in approximately 28 hours. Keep all sensors at maximum sensitivity, Reyes ordered. We're heading into unknown territory. In her quarters that night, Reyes reviewed historical footage of humanity's first official contact with alien life. The images showed nervous human representatives standing before tall, willowy beings with crystalline features, the Iridians. Your species should not have achieved sentience under such conditions, the Iridian ambassador had declared. The crushing gravity. The atmospheric toxins. The evolutionary pressure of constant predation. Earth is categorized as a Class 5 death world. Your people are concerning. Since that day, humanity had struggled to prove they were more than just dangerous animals from a hostile planet. This rescue mission could reshape perceptions, or confirm the galaxy's worst fears. In the Pathfinder's science bay, Dr. Hernandez and her assistant Dr. Omar Bashir scrutinized the Lirani distress signal with growing unease. Something isn't right, Hernandez murmured, gesturing at her analysis screen. I've deconstructed the signal pattern. This segment here, it doesn't align with standard Lirani communication protocols. Bashir studied the display. Could the signal have been corrupted by whatever attacked them? Possibly, Hernandez said, unconvinced. But look at this distortion pattern. It's too symmetrical. Actual damage creates random disruptions. This looks designed. Their eyes met, the implication clear. You think the signal is fabricated? Bashir asked quietly. I think we need to be extremely cautious, Hernandez replied, activating her comm badge. Hernandez to Captain Reyes. I need to discuss something urgent with you in the science bay. That evening, crew members gathered in the recreation hall, tension visible in their postures despite attempts at normal interaction. Torres had brought her antique violin, playing soft earth melodies that reminded everyone of home. Commander Okafor moved among the groups, offering reassurance where needed. Commander, Junior Officer Kai Zhang asked softly, what if this is a trap? The room fell silent as everyone confronted the thought they'd been avoiding. Okafor didn't hesitate. Then we'll do what humans have always done when cornered. We'll adapt. We'll fight. And we'll prevail. His confidence spread through the room like a wave. Humans might be feared as Deathworlders, but that fear came with grudging respect. No species in the known galaxy possessed their tenacious will to overcome. On the second day of transit, Reyes gathered her senior staff in the tactical center. Dar. Hernandez presented her findings about the distress signals anomalies, and security protocols were heightened across the fleet. We proceed as planned, Reyes decided, but at maximum alert status. All ships will maintain battle readiness from the moment we exit dimensional space. 28 hours after departure, the fleet emerged at the edge of the target system. Reyes ordered all vessels to maintain position while automated probes were launched to scout ahead. Reyes, Okafor, Hernandez, and Tarsov gathered around the tactical display as the first data streamed back. My God, whispered Okafor. The holographic projection showed a fierce battle. Sleek silver ships matching the Lirani vessels were under attack by ominous black craft that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. I've never seen that hostile species before, said Hernandez, indicating the black ships. Bashir was analyzing the sensor readings, his expression growing increasingly troubled. Captain, I'm detecting unusual energy patterns within this engagement. It's almost as if they're not genuinely fighting, Tarsov finished, his military experience enabling him to recognize the patterns. The weapons are discharging, but the damage patterns are inconsistent with actual combat. It resembles a performance more than warfare. Reyes's eyes narrowed as she made her decision. Security Director Tarsov, prepare all ships for potential combat. We're going to investigate, but with extreme caution. Something feels wrong, and I want to understand what before we fully commit. The human fleet advanced slowly toward the conflict zone, weapons powered but not yet targeting. Reyes stood on the bridge of the Pathfinder, her posture betraying nothing of her inner suspicion. Open communications on all standard frequencies, she ordered. Lieutenant Wei nodded. Broadcasting, attention vessels in conflict. This is Captain Eliana Reyes of the Earth vessel Pathfinder. We received your distress signal and offer assistance. Please respond. The message repeated 3 times while the bridge crew waited in tense silence. No response from either party, Captain, Wei reported. Move us closer, but maintain maximum shield strength, Reyes commanded. As the fleet approached, they gained a clearer view of the engagement. The silver Lirani ships moved with unexpected precision, while the black vessels attacked with calculated intensity. Those black ships, Hernandez said, studying her readouts. They're unlike anything in our database. The material seems to absorb scanner beams rather than reflect them. Without warning, both the Lirani and the black ship ceased fire. All vessels pivoted toward the human fleet. Captain! Torres shouted from the navigation console. Both sides have locked weapons on us. Before Reyes could respond, the black ships fired first. Brilliant energy beams sliced through space and crashed against the Pathfinder's shields. Shields at 82% capacity, reported Chief Engineer Kyoko Tanaka from Engineering. They won't withstand prolonged bombardment. Return fire, Reyes commanded. Target the lead black vessel. The Pathfinder's main cannons unleashed a barrage of concentrated energy. The shot connected directly, but the black ship appeared to absorb much of the blast without significant damage. Captain, the Lirani ships are moving, called Torres. They're attacking our medical vessel. Reyes's face registered shock before hardening into determination. This made no sense. Why would the ships they came to help now turn against them? All ships implement evasive pattern delta, she ordered. Fire only when you have confirmed targeting solutions. Space around them erupted into chaos. The human vessels, designed for durability rather than maneuverability, sustained significant damage. Commander Okafor's tactical expertise kept the Pathfinder from the worst attacks, but their position was rapidly deteriorating. Captain, Okafor said, his voice tight with urgency, we can't maintain this engagement without understanding what we're facing. Reyes nodded grimly. Order the fleet to fall back to position Omega. We need to regroup and reassess. As the human ships withdrew, the Lirani and black vessels did not pursue. Instead, they maintained formation, as if waiting for something more. In the damaged intelligence center of the Pathfinder, Lieutenant Wei analyzed data collected during the brief engagement. This doesn't make sense, he muttered, reviewing the footage. Look at these patterns. He summoned Reyes and Okafor to view his findings. The Lirani and these black ships, which I believe are called Void Harbingers based on fragmentary records, they weren't genuinely fighting when we arrived. They were performing a choreographed sequence. A trap, Reyes stated, her voice low with controlled anger. Wei nodded. And evidently not their first. Observe this. He displayed images of ship debris scattered throughout a remote sector of the system. These fragments belong to at least 5 different species, all bearing damage signatures consistent with what we just experienced. Okafor's expression darkened. They broadcast false distress calls, then ambush whoever responds. But why? What's their objective? Before anyone could speculate further, Torres's voice came through the communication system. Captain, during our tactical withdrawal, we captured an escape pod from one of the Void Harbinger vessels. The occupant is secured in Detention Bay 4. Reyes and Okafor exchanged meaningful glances. Perhaps, Reyes said, rising from her seat, we're about to get some answers.
Deathworlders unleashed. The secure detention bay was clinically bright and uncomfortably cold. Captain Ileana Reyes and Commander Jackson Okafor stood facing the captured Void Harbinger pilot. The alien was tall and unnaturally thin, with skin so dark it seemed to absorb the light around it. Its eyes were large obsidian orbs showing no discernible emotion. "I am Captain Reyes of the United Earth Space Command," Reyes began, her voice firm but controlled. "You attacked my ships without provocation. I want to know why." The alien tilted its elongated head, studying the humans with detached curiosity. When it spoke, its voice sounded like metal scraping against stone, the ship's translator struggling to convert the alien phonetics. "You responded quickly, Deathworlders, more quickly than the others." "The others?" Okafor asked. "You mean the other ships you've destroyed after luring them with fake distress calls?" The alien's mouth stretched into what might have been a smile. "You are more perceptive than most. Yes, many came before you, all now gone." Dr. Hernandez entered the detention bay holding a data tablet. "Our scans of their vessel show technology from at least 8 different species, technology that doesn't match their own developmental level." "Nothing belongs to anyone," the alien replied with disturbing calm. "The strong acquire, the weak lose. This is the natural order." Reyes placed her hands on the interrogation table, leaning forward. "And the Lyrani, I thought they were victims, but they're working with you, aren't they?" The alien made a sound like dry branches breaking, apparently laughter. "The Lyrani are our partners for many cycles. They appear peaceful and diplomatic, makes the deception more effective." Okafor felt a chill run down his spine. "How many ships have you taken this way?" "Hundreds," the alien said without hesitation, "from all sectors of the galaxy." "Why target humanity specifically?" Reyes demanded. "Earth is still new to interstellar travel. Our technology isn't the most advanced." The alien's black eyes seemed to deepen. "But it is different. Earth vessels use unique gravitational manipulation systems. Lyrani scientists are very interested, and Deathworlders make exceptional combat specimens, if they can be controlled." The implications hung in the recycled air. They weren't just targets for their ships. These aliens intended to study and exploit humans themselves. "There's more," Dr. Bashir reported, entering with new sensor data. "The Void Harbinger fleet is regrouping near the system's outer planets, and additional Lyrani vessels are arriving. Their combined force now outnumbers us 5-1. Reyes straightened, her decision made. "Return the prisoner to detention, then meet me in the command center. It's time we showed these aliens why Deathworlders are not to be hunted." An hour later, the leaders of the human fleet gathered around the tactical holotable. The three-dimensional display showed the positions of all known enemy vessels. "We're significantly outnumbered," Chief Engineer Tanaka observed, "and their technology remains partially unknown." "But now we understand their game," Reyes replied. "They expect us to retreat or surrender. They don't know humans well." Dr. Hernandez stepped forward. "I've analyzed their shield technology. It's designed to absorb energy weapons but shows vulnerability to kinetic impacts, physical projectiles like our rail gun systems." Okafor nodded, a small smile forming. "Most advanced species abandoned primitive kinetic weapons centuries ago. They wouldn't expect us to still use them." "Exactly," Reyes agreed. "And I've sent an encrypted message back to Earth. The experimental battle cruiser Vindicator is being dispatched as reinforcement. It will arrive in 17 hours. Torres looked concerned. "Can we hold out that long against their numbers?" "We won't just hold out," Reyes said firmly. "We're taking the fight to them. Commander Okafor has developed a tactical plan." Okafor activated a detailed simulation on the holotable. "The Lyrani and Void Harbingers think they're the predators. It's time to show them what happens when you corner a species that evolved on a death world." As the human officers finalized their counterattack strategy, the captured Void Harbinger sat alone in its cell. For the first time in its extended lifespan, it felt something new, a creeping sense of doubt about the wisdom of having provoked these strange, determined creatures from Earth. The damaged human ships drifted silently in the shadow of a massive ice moon. On the Pathfinder's bridge, Captain Reyes studied the holographic display showing enemy movements, her face carved from stone. Their search pattern is predictable, she observed, pointing to the routes the enemy vessels followed. They believe we're fleeing in panic. Alkifer nodded. Good, let them think that. The past 8 hours had been spent repairing critical systems and preparing for what came next. The humans had been forced to retreat but not defeated. Now they would show the galaxy why Earth species were feared. Is everyone clear on the plan? Reyes asked, surveying her officers. Dr. Hernandez spoke first. Team Alpha will use our stealth shuttles to infiltrate the Lyrani command vessel. With their attention on finding our main fleet, their internal security should be minimal. Team Beta will position our remaining fighters here and here, Security Director Tarsov continued, highlighting locations within the Ice Moon's debris field. We'll use the natural cover to strike their supply lines. Engineer Tanaka stepped forward. She hadn't slept in nearly 30 hours, but determination fueled her movements. I've modified our weapons based on what we learned from the prisoner. Their shields absorb energy, so I've reconfigured our rail guns to fire specialized rounds. She held up a small metal cylinder. These appear simple but contain complex mechanisms. When they impact the enemy shields, they'll create frequency disruptions that should generate weak points. Reyes nodded in approval, and the Vindicators. 12 hours out, Wei replied. We need to hold until then. Then we move now, Reyes decided. Security Director Tarsov, you'll lead the infiltration team. I'll coordinate fleet actions from here. As the officers dispersed to prepare, Reyes stopped Tarsov with a hand on his shoulder. This plan depends on enemies underestimating humans. Use that to your advantage. Tarsov's lips curved into a determined smile. They think we're just animals from a harsh world. Time to show them that makes us dangerous, not primitive. 3 hours later, Tarsov's small team drifted silently toward the massive Lyrani command vessel. Their shuttle had been modified to mask its energy signature, making it nearly invisible to advanced sensors. Approaching entry point, whispered Lieutenant Zhang, piloting the craft. Their outer bay doors are opening to launch interceptors. We can slip in during the launch sequence. Tarsov checked his kinetic pistol, a weapon that used compressed air to fire small metal projectiles instead of energy beams. Remember, we move fast and quiet. Our objective is their communication center. Once there, we can disrupt their coordination with the Void Harbingers. The shuttle slipped into the massive hangar bay just as Lyrani fighters launched. No alarm sounded. They had infiltrated successfully. Meanwhile, in the Ice Moon's debris field, the human combat ships took position. Engineer Tanaka's modified weapons were loaded and ready. Akafer, commanding this part of the operation, watched the enemy patrol ships approaching. Hold position, he ordered. Wait until they're fully in the kill zone. The enemy vessels moved closer, unaware of the trap. When they reached the center of the debris field, Akafer gave the command. All ships opened fire. The modified railguns launched their special rounds. When they struck the enemy shields, instead of being absorbed, they created rippling disruptions. The follow-up shots tore through these weakened areas, causing catastrophic damage. It's working, shouted a weapons officer. Their shields are failing. Akafer allowed himself a brief moment of satisfaction before refocusing. Press the attack, don't give them time to adapt. Back on the Pathfinder, Captain Reyes monitored both operations. Reports came in of successful strikes against the enemy supply ships, while Tarsov's team had penetrated deep into the Lyrani command vessel. Reyes opened a channel to all human ships. This is Captain Reyes, the tide is turning. In 9 hours, the Vindicator will arrive with reinforcements. Until then, show these aliens why humanity's reputation is well-earned. Reyes out. As she closed the channel, Reyes studied the tactical display. For the first time since arriving in this system, she allowed herself to believe they might survive this encounter. Aboard the Lyrani command ship, Tarsov's team moved through shadowy corridors, avoiding detection. The alien vessel's interior was beautiful but unsettling. Organic curves merged with crystalline technology in ways that defied human engineering principles. They reached the central communication hub without incident, finding it lightly guarded. The Lyrani had grown complacent, confident in their technological superiority. Plant the disruptors, Tarsov ordered as his team secured the room. Dr. Bashir, part of the infiltration team, plugged a small device into the alien console. Initiating system override. Their entire communication network will be flooded with contradictory commands. Suddenly, alarms blared throughout the vessel. We've been discovered, Zhang warned, readying his weapon. The Lyrani are converging on our position. Hold them off, Tarsov commanded. Bashir needs 3 more minutes to complete the upload. The first wave of Lyrani security forces appeared at the entrance to the communication hub. They were elegant beings, but their weapons were deadly. Energy beams sizzled through the air as Tarsov's team took cover. Remember your training, Tarsov called out. They're expecting energy weapons use kinetic rounds. The human team fired their projectile weapons. The Lyrani, accustomed to energy shields that would protect them from conventional attacks, were unprepared. The primitive but effective bullets tore through their defenses, causing chaos in their ranks. Upload complete, Bashir announced triumphantly. Their command structure is in disarray. They can't coordinate with the Void Harbingers. Fall back to the extraction point, Tarsov ordered. Mission accomplished. In the outer system, the battle had intensified. The human fleet, though outnumbered, fought with unprecedented ferocity and adaptability. When the aliens adjusted to one tactic, the humans immediately switched to another. The Void Harbingers, accustomed to easy victories against isolated ships, found themselves facing an opponent that refused to follow predictable patterns. More disturbingly, they noted that the humans seemed to grow more effective as the battle progressed, learning, adapting, improving in real time. On the Pathfinder, Reyes received the report of Tarsov's successful mission. Well done, Director. Get your team back safely. The Lyrani ships are already showing signs of disorganization. A sudden alert blared across the bridge. Captain, Torres called out. Massive energy signature detected entering the system. It's the Vindicator. The experimental Earth vessel burst into normal space, its revolutionary propulsion system leaving a cascade of subspace ripples in its wake. It was larger than the Pathfinder, bristling with weapon systems that represented the pinnacle of human military technology. All ships, this is Admiral Blackwell aboard the Vindicator, came the transmission. Form up on our position, it's time to end this. The Void Harbingers, recognizing the new threat, attempted to regroup. But without the Lyrani's coordination, their formation was ragged and disorganized. The combined human fleet launched a coordinated assault. Railguns fired specialized disruptor rounds, creating vulnerabilities in alien shields. Follow-up energy beams targeted these weak points with devastating precision. Within hours, the tide had completely turned. The remaining enemy vessels began to retreat, their once fearsome ambush now in tatters. In the aftermath, the human fleet surrounded the Lyrani command vessel. Its captain, a silver-skinned being with multifaceted eyes, stood before Reyes on the Pathfinder's bridge. You have defeated us, the Lyrani admitted, its melodic voice tinged with disbelief. No species has ever escaped our trap, let alone turned it against us. Perhaps you should have researched Earth more thoroughly before targeting us, Reyes replied, her voice cold. Humans evolved on a world that tried to kill us every day. We learned to survive against the odds. It's in our DNA. The Lyrani captain's multifaceted eyes reflected the lights of the bridge. The Galactic Conclave will hear of this. They feared your potential, that's why they sanctioned our actions. Earth was to be contained, studied, controlled. Tell them this, Reyes said, stepping closer to the alien. Earth seeks peaceful relations with all species. We want to trade, to learn, to grow together. But if provoked, if threatened, we will defend ourselves with everything we have. 6 days later, the Pathfinder led the victorious human fleet back to Earth. The news of their triumph had preceded them, transmitted through the quantum communication network. As they approached Earth orbit, Reyes stood on the bridge, Akafor at her side. The diplomatic corps is in chaos, he informed her, reading from his datapad. 17 species have requested formal meetings. The Galactic Conclave is sending representatives. And the Lyrani and Void Harbingers, Reyes asked. Their leadership is facing consequences for unsanctioned aggression, Akafor replied. More importantly, 3 new trade agreements have been proposed with Earth. It seems our response to the distress call has changed some perceptions. Reyes gazed at the blue-green sphere of her homeworld growing larger in the view screen. They thought we were dangerous because of where we came from. Now they understand we're dangerous when we need to be, but we're also something they never expected. What's that? Akafor asked. Reyes smiled. Compassionate, We answered a call for help even knowing it might be risky. That's the truest reflection of humanity, not our weapons or our adaptability, but our willingness to extend a hand even when it might get bitten. As the Pathfinder entered Earth orbit, communications channels throughout the system carried the news. Humanity had announced its presence to the galaxy not through conquest or aggression, but through a rescue mission that had revealed both their strength and their character. In the secure wing of Earth's diplomatic center, Admiral Blackwell met with Captain Reyes one final time before the official ceremonies. The Galactic Conclave is reassessing humanity's classification, Blackwell informed her. They're beginning to understand that evolving on a death world didn't just make us physically resilient, it fostered innovation, cooperation, and determination. And the conspiracy against us, Reyes asked. Exposed and dismantled, Blackwell replied. Your captured Void Harbinger provided extensive intelligence. More importantly, several species have approached us as potential allies impressed by our response. Reyes nodded thoughtfully. We sent a message by answering that distress call. Indeed, Blackwell agreed. The galaxy now knows that humans will respond to those in need, and that underestimating us is a grave mistake. As the first diplomatic representatives from the Galactic Conclave arrived on Earth, they were greeted not with suspicion but with cautious optimism. Humanity had demonstrated that they belonged among the stars, not despite their origins on a death world, but because of it. A new chapter in Earth's history had begun. The Deathworlders had arrived on the galactic stage, and nothing would ever be the same again.